This right here is exactly what you're here to see. The Samsung Galaxy S4. This is the AT&T model. I'm going to unbox it, turn it on, set it up, try it out, all right now. So here we are with the Samsung Galaxy S4. In one of my previous videos, somebody asked why I at times white out certain information on the boxes, and that's because I don't want you having my telephone number or certain device serial numbers that are listed on the box. It's for security reasons. Samsung Galaxy S4. It's come in quite a beautiful fake wood looking case. The only markings on the front says Galaxy S4. There was a sticker here with the phone number of the device, which I just taped something over. On the bottom, there was a sticker with all the device's serial numbers, which I also taped over. On the side, it says Samsung Galaxy S4. This side is blank. And on the back, it gives you some of the features of the phone and then some of the product information. One of the things I find interesting is the iPad mini, the HTC One, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 all printed using boxes that are printed with soy ink. So most, I guess, of the technology manufacturers are going to soy ink for the inks. This slips right off, leaving the box. The inner box has even less marking on it. Looks to be a small QR code over here. GH69-17483B. Maybe it's a part number. It says printed in Korea. Let's take the top off. It lifts straight up. Put the top aside. There's nothing in the bottom. We get a quick start welcome guide for the Samsung Galaxy S4. Very similar to the quick start guide in the HTC One, meaning that it unfolds. It's not a book, it's more of a folded piece of paper. We could put this over here. Here it is. The Galaxy S4. Just like the HTC, comes with a sticker saying texting and driving, it could wait. So I could tell the phone has already been opened prior to arrival because the back's already popping off and the stickers have been pried off. And I'm assuming what they did was insert the SIM card prior to arrival, which they have done on other phones of mine as well. Let's put this aside for a second. There's a little pull tab. This lifts up. It's a very smooth cardboard. Feels different than most paper products I've ever felt. This lifts up. There's a little latch. On top, we have a booklet. We have a user guide and a Samsung Smart Switch advertisement. Interesting that there are no stickers. Most of these phones come with stickers these days. Also in here is a charger, a cable, pair of headphones, the battery, and that's it. First, we can take a quick look at the charger. The charger could do an input of 100 to 240 volts, both 50 and 60 hertz. So with an adapter, the input could be worldwide. The output is 5 volts at 2 amps. And it's wrapped in a plastic. Very similar to the way that an Apple product comes. We could just pull this plastic right off. And here's the charger. It's interesting that the USB port is on the side, not on the top like most products. And as you can see, it says Samsung. The cable, the sync cable, says it's model number ECB-DU4EWE. And it looks like a standard micro USB. The headsets come in a sealed plastic bag, sealed with a sticker. White headsets, bearing the Samsung logo. Soft tips. The mediums come shipped on it. Small and large are also in the package. There is a 3-button remote. Pause play, volume up, volume down. Put this aside, put all this aside. The battery comes out of the device. The battery out of the plastic. Contact points up here on top. This is a moisture sensor probably. If this gets wet, it probably turns pink. It says Samsung Near Field Communication. 3.8 volt lithium ion battery. $2,600 milliamp hours. And it comes with a serial number, and the part number is B600BU. See all that there. I'm going to take these stickers off the device. Take the back off. So I have the back off of the Samsung Galaxy S4. I put a little cut piece of business card in there temporarily just to block some of the phone's private information for security reasons. We have a very large camera up here on top. This is a 13 megapixel rear-facing camera. 13 megapixels, I think, is the highest megapixel camera I've ever had in a phone. Right under it, we could see that there is an LED. It looks like one fairly powerful or strong LED. And then it also looks like there is a small sensor array or set of sensors of some sort to the right and to the left of it. We could see in the back cover of the phone the cutout here for the LED and for the large camera. On the back also you have the AT&T logo, Galaxy S4, and then a small cutout which matches up with the speaker right over here. We also, up here, this area for the SIM. And let me pop that out just so we could take a look at it. Push in. It pops it out. There we go. So here's the SIM card. Get that back in there. Just clicks nice up and in there. And then on this side, we have a micro SD card slot, but no micro SD card. As it turns out, I have a 32 gigabyte micro SDHC right here. I have for one of my GoPro cameras. I'm going to put this in here for now. And it clicks right into place fairly naturally. So the only features on the back that are really worth noting, the big speaker down here, micro SD, SIM card, 13 megapixel camera, and the flash. Let me put the battery in and then I'll pop the cover on. Here's that business card I had in there. So now the battery's in, the cover's on, and the first thing I'm thinking is that, wow, this phone is thin. You know, in putting this cover on, this seems like just this massively large phone in my hand, but it feels so thin. Amazingly large, amazingly thin. It feels good in my hand. It doesn't, I guess it kind of feels cheap and plastic on the back. I was a little concerned about the back feel, and it does feel a little cheap and plastic. Very different than the iPhone or the HTC One. The side feels like it's almost too small, like your thumb is sliding off of it. It's kind of curved here on the edge, so I feel like my thumb is sliding off of it, And the only thing on this side is it looks like a power button. It looks like the power button is right over here on the phone's right side. On the left of the phone, we have the volume up and volume down buttons, or what I assume are the volume up and volume down buttons. On the bottom, we have the micro USB charging syncing. We have what looks like a microphone down here for noise cancellation. There also looks to be a microphone up here, and I think this is the IR blaster. On the top, we have the headphone jack, what looks to be a microphone, and the IR blaster, what looks to be the IR blaster. I need to find out if this plastic strip's supposed to come off or not. Samsung logo, what looks like the ear speakers. There is a forward-facing camera. We'll take a look at that. And there looks to be a sensor array of 3 sensors up top here. One's going to be an ambient light sensor, and then the other 2 have different functionality. Let's turn this phone on for the first time. Power up the Galaxy S4. I'm going to hold the button on the right-hand side. Held it down for a good 2 seconds, and then I felt it vibrate. Now it's coming up and saying Samsung Galaxy S4. Very bright, very nice contrast between the black and the white. We have a blue LED up in the upper left over here. That is obviously our LED notification center. Then the AT&T load screen. First, it's asking me what language. I'm going to select English. It's looking for Wi-Fi networks. It will not find mine, so I'm just going to hit next. I want the date and time automatically set, so it's asking me if I want to use network time. Then I select my time zone, and it's right here, Eastern Daylight Time. Let's hit next. It's asking me if I have a Google account. That's great. It's going right to the Google account. I do. I'm going to hit yes. I'm going to put this information in and come right back. So I just entered my Google information, and now it's signing me into the Google service. It's asking me if I want to back up or restore from another phone, and I don't want to do either. I suggest you read that previous screen, really understand what each option does, and then make an informed decision. I didn't want to back up my phone because I'm not sure if I'm going to be using this phone yet or another phone. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make it my primary phone. I very often have several phones. I also don't want to restore from a backup because I want to start new. But you should take a look at it and decide what to do. This next screen has to do with Google and location. You should read both of these screens and make an informed decision. I have a great lecture that I give on mobile device privacy. I'll put the link to it right up here in the upper right-hand side of the screen. I think you should take a look at it. You might not really want to share all this information. Unchecking these boxes won't protect you in any great ways, but go ahead and take a look at my privacy video so you really get an idea of what you're sharing. I'm going to leave these checked because I want to get the full Android experience for my trial with this phone. And now I'm going to hit the next button. Now asking me to set up other email services. I'm going to set up my John Jay College email and come back in a moment. So I entered the email information for my Exchange account, and here are some of the options coming up. So when I enter my college's Exchange server information, it gives me a list of warnings that the device administrator, i.e. my school, will have access to on my phone. It tells me that they could erase the data, set password rules, monitor screen unlock attempts, lock the screen, set lock screen password expiration, set storage encryption, disable the cameras, disable features in the keyguard, set SD card encryption, password recovery, disable POP and IMAP emails, disable the SD card, disable the Wi-Fi, disable SMS, MMS messaging, disable the internet sharing, disable Bluetooth, disable desktop sync, disable IRDA, disable third-party applications, disable native applications, disable unknown applications, prevent the installation of unknown applications. So it's showing all the security settings that an administrator at John Jay would have over my phone. It's important to realize that while I do see things for erase Most of these things are either setting rules, password rules, or disabling. What they don't appear what they don't appear to have access to, for example, is my pictures or other types of information. I entered my email account, hit next, and now it's asking me to sign up for a Samsung account. It is asking me to sign up or log in with a Samsung account. It says that I could back up my personal data securely, something that I'm not interested in. Other people might be, however, and enjoy a variety of services with a single account. Let's take a look at what those services are. There's a link here. The services are Samsung Apps, Samsung Music, Samsung Books, Chat On, Family Story, Samsung Link, Find My Mobile. That's important. So if you lose your device, you could use the Samsung app to find your missing device. It's also important to realize that if you use a weak password, somebody else could use it to find you, or if you have your credentials stolen. Media Hub, Smart Appliance, Samsung Watch On, and the Samsung Hub. So it does give me a whole bunch of products, and I'll create a new account. I'll sign up for this. I'm trying to get the full Samsung experience here. It's letting me sign up for it with my Facebook info, or I could sign up with my own info. I'm going to use my own info, and I'm going to come back in one moment. I find the next screen very interesting. It gives me a list of features, and it allows me to turn them on or off right from the start. S-Beam, for example, or AirView or Air Gesture, voice control, smart stay, smart pause, smart scroll, easy mode, and adapt display. It's interesting how many of their key features, such as Air Gesture, come turned off. It's almost like they don't want you to use them. Air Gesture says control your phone by making specific gestures with your hand above the sensor. Turn it on for now. Let's see what that does. Smart Pause is the feature that when you look away pauses video, and that comes off as well. Let's turn that on. Smart Scroll uses your eyes to scroll. Let's turn that on. And now let's hit finish. It's asking me to sign up for the AT&T locker to store my photos. I'm going to hit skip. And now the phone comes up. This is the first screen we see on the Galaxy S4. This screen starts in the middle, the home screen here. When you hit here, it goes home. That's the middle screen. We have 2 to the left and 2 to the right. On the bottom here, we have our taskbar, our icon bar that we hopefully can figure out how to change. Pull down menu. Pull down notification center, pulls down really smoothly, goes up and down. The home screen, of course, doesn't go into landscape mode, something I would love for them to be able to figure out. The notification screen, here we have setup. Here we have some shortcut buttons to turn off things such as Wi-Fi, GPS, lock screen rotation. The Samsung Galaxy S4, as we know, is a 4G LTE phone. It has basically a 5-inch full Super AMOLED display. It's really bright, really powerful, really large display. This display just feels much larger than both my iPhone and my HTC One. And of course, it is much larger. On top over here, we have the infrared blaster, as we said. The processor inside is a 1.9 gigahertz quad-core processor. It has a 13 megapixel camera right here on the back and a forward-facing camera right here on the front. My name is Adam Wandt. I am a professor and technologist at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, part of the City University of New York. I am now going to go upload some additional account information and play with the phone for a few hours. I'll make an additional video in the next day or two discussing this phone in a lot more depth. I'll put the link right up here on the upper right-hand side of the screen.